Hello and welcome, my friends, to the Kortex product tour, where we're going to go over every feature inside of Kortex. Now, before we get started, just don't pay attention to these right now. We'll go over what the features actually are, but ignore how this looks and this add element to workspace button for now, because you can go about that in your own time later. For now, and in this video, we're only going to go over the features of Kortex. If you want to learn our writing and note-taking processes that we recommend, join our free community at community.kortex.co. And what that has is public release notes, public feature roadmap, a free second brain course that is fairly extensive that goes over our note-taking and writing methods. It has Kortex templates and goes deeper into the power of Kortex itself, which this video won't do since it's just an introduction. Inside of there, there's also community support. You can ask app-related questions, and you can just spark discussion with other people if you'd like. And then eventually, if people are up for it, they can post their user-created templates or the templates that you create inside of Kortex. So now, going deeper into the actual features, we're going to start with documents. So documents are your typical text editor for any kind of note-taking app or document editor that you use. To create a document, you can click this button for a new document, and we're just gonna title this example. And what you can do in here is text, idea, words. You can just do what you do in really any kind of markdown editor. So you can highlight it, you can change what it is from a heading to a bullet list to anything like that. You can create a backlink or a new document from these words. So it creates a document with these words as the title. You can add a hyperlink to some external website. You can bold, italicize, change the color, etc. Right? Pretty straightforward. Now, if you press slash, this opens the slash menu. Don't pay attention to the elements for now, but if you go over this and you click it or you press the right arrow, you can start to navigate the options. So these have all of your basic options, from headings to uploading an image to bulleted list, ordered lists, to-do lists, videos, dividers, block quotes, etc. So play around with this. Of course, you should already know how to write by now, so that will help you out. Now, the last thing I want to go over with documents is reordering, organizing, and pinning to favorites. So you can see up here that I have my favorites. I can toggle this here, but it's pretty simple. You just right click, you click pin to favorites, and it's up there. What I like to include in my favorites are either templates that I duplicate quite often by clicking duplicate here, and then also the project that I'm working on at that time. So for me, it's either a newsletter or a book chapter that I'm focused on. So I'll pin that just for easy access, right? The next thing is that to add a nested document and turn this into a folder, you click right here. Let's just say example 2. So now I have a nested document and I have a folder, right? And whenever you create a specific backlink here, so let's just say example 3, or you create a new document, I can add that right here and it adds it under. Now, in order to reorder these, what you can do is you just drag and drop, and you can see the little indicator, that white line, and you can see what level, by dragging left and right, it will fall under. So I can drag it under here, and now it's nested under here. So play around with that, organize things how you'd wish, and that's the gist of documents. Back to the Kortex operating manual. The next feature that we're going to go over is capture. So capture is an incredibly important feature for us because most note-taking apps haven't gotten it right yet. And that's a huge problem, where whenever writers or just creative people, or really anyone, because everyone has ideas and they're extremely important to your life, whenever someone has an idea, their main option is to open up a notes app or a to-do app or even a document editor on their phone, and whichever one they can find fast, just to capture the idea. And what this does is it leads to a bunch of cluttered notes, documents, to-dos, or just running long documents with a bunch of ideas that make you lose them. And the thing about capture is that you wanted to capture the idea because you wanted to use it in the first place. You saw the potential in it. So our capture feature allows for that. So to open Capture, you can either click this button to open it in the full viewport, or you can click Open in Pane to open it in a side view in a pane, which we'll go over more later. Now, if we look through these, you can see that this is just an idea that is connected to this Kortex operating manual document. That's important. When you connect to a specific document and you continue typing and adding ideas, it will save them under that same document. So you can filter for captures specific to that document. So if I'm writing in this document here and I have specific ideas for that document, it's really easy for me to see them and write from them. Another thing I can do with the captured ideas is I can delete them, I can copy them, so it's easier to paste over to here if I want to, and I can edit them. So when I click edit, it looks like this. It adds all of my text into here. Looks like you're editing a message on your phone. That's kind of how we emulated this feature, or how we created this feature. The next thing is that you can tag ideas. So let's imagine that I was on a walk and I just wanted to, I had a social media post idea because I'm on social media, I write. And so if I don't have a specific document that I want to save captures to, I can just tag it with something like post idea or to do, right? And then if I have a bunch of post ideas written in my capture under this hashtag, then I can simply filter by it by going up here and filtering for hashtag post idea. And so now I'll only see the post ideas. And if you're a writer, you understand that this will fill up very quick if they're all tagged with post idea. So I can just have a bunch of post ideas here, and then I can write them all out here if I would like to. Now, even further, just to give more examples of what you can do here, and the purpose of this, if it hasn't clicked for you yet, is pretend that I'm writing a book. And I have my book outline and I have all of my chapters in specific documents that I'm going to be writing. Normally, what you would do is you would just capture ideas randomly anywhere on your phone, and you probably wouldn't be able to find them or remember what you captured the idea for. So now what I can do with this book chapter document, imagine I have all of my book chapters listed and I'm on a walk or I'm having a conversation or a random idea just comes to my head and I know what chapter it's going to go into. And this isn't limited to book chapters. This is for your newsletters. This is for specific projects you're working on. This is for projects that you're collaborating with other people. If you have an idea that's specific to a project that you're working on, you have a document, and then you can create or you can connect to book chapter, or I can create a new document if I don't have one yet. And then I can start typing, this is an idea for this book chapter. And then the filter comes up, so I can continue typing ideas for this book chapter. I can also tag an idea, so better idea that I want to also make a social post, and then I tag it with my post idea tag and then send that. And so now as I'm writing this specific book chapter, I have all of these ideas here to reference that I wrote on my phone or when I'm on a walk or wherever I am, and it just makes it that much easier to get started with. And so what this does when you type a bunch is it organizes it and keeps everything clean and condensed by adding them all like this. So if we go even further, now we have two post idea tags. So if I look up tag post idea, I can see both of those here, and I can navigate even to the connection to the book chapter idea if I want to. The last thing that I want to go over with Capture is how you can access connected notes to a document without adding a filter to the top relatively quick. So let's say that I am writing my book chapter, I have that open, and I'm just writing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I wrote an idea yesterday, I captured it. How do I access that? So there is both a capture button up here, and there is one next to the open in Pane button in the document navigator itself. So when I click either of these, what it does is it opens up the filter for that specific thing. So it just makes it very quick to either both capture ideas for this specific document or to just reference these, copy paste them over, or just look at them and use them to guide your writing. Let's close that and let's talk quickly about tags and connections. So if you've used the second brain before, you understand the importance of tags and connections, because a typical hierarchical structure to documents, it works, but it only goes so far in helping you find and organize your ideas, right? The thing here is a tag, we like to use them for categories, keywords, or purposes. A category example is something like writing or self-improvement or philosophy or whatever it is that you take notes on or your projects are about or what you write about, etc. And now the thing with tags is that if I click one, it opens up and I can see all of the documents that have that specific tag, and I can go through them and I can view the documents right here. And I can even search further within the specific tag if I want to. So writing, let's just say like attention. I have attention that appears in one, and then I can just filter deeper into it, right? Makes sense. Now, same thing with a keyword, same thing we've already talked about, a post idea. So if I'm writing a document and one of the lines that I write, I want to turn into a post idea for later, I can add the tag post idea. And then when I want to reference those, I can just open this and I can go and find the ideas. The cool thing about this is pretend I'm writing that book chapter from earlier, right? And I am writing about the topic of writing. I can go through here, I can use my keyboard to look. And now if you see this little shortcut right here, you can press Option Enter to open it in a pane, and you can go through this and navigate it really quickly. So that's the power of tags, because now I can see, oh, I have other tags in here. If I need more ideas, I can find them and open them in a pane. And even further than that, with connections, connections are extremely powerful for helping you create unique and novel ideas in your writing or in your projects. So I opened this from a tag, and now I go through here, and there's no connections in this one specifically, but let's pretend that this was a connection, because it is. So I click this, and this is what a connection looks like, and it opens in a new pane right here when you click on it. So now I have two panes open, and I can open as many of these as I'd like to and navigate through them here. Now, if this was like a book chapter or notes or something like that, and it had another connection to a random idea, and I'm running out of ideas for what to write about, I can click on this, open it, and now I have multiple panes open that I can navigate through and see everything inside of here. This is an extremely powerful feature if you learn to use it correctly. Let's actually open the book chapter document that we were using in a pane, just so we have something open to type about. To create a connection, you can either press the double brackets and then search for the specific thing. So let's connect to a random note that I have somewhere. Let's just say my notes and ideas page. And now I have this open. I can go into here, and this was a folder of mine. So now I can go through and navigate the ideas that are in there and open specific things like how to find a profitable product idea. And then I can open these, I can read through them, looks really good. Now the last thing that we need to talk about for connections is the metadata navigator, which is this little icon right here that shows up in any document. We actually plan on moving this in the future, and the reason I'm stating that is so I don't have to recreate this video when that happens, but I will have to eventually. It will be somewhere right in here, and it will be a bit more apparent and user-friendly. So I'm going to go to a template that I have where I take notes for a specific newsletter that I'm writing. And so what I can do inside of this is I know that I have my research element with all of my different connections. If you want to go over how we actually build this template and start writing, take the free Second Brain course in our community. But I have a bunch of connections listed out here. So I can click this and I can see, okay, I have all of my elements here. I can navigate to those if I want to. And I can also see all of the incoming and outgoing connections. Another cool thing about this is that I can see the nested documents under this document here. So if I click any one of these, I can just open them in a pane, and I can see, okay, if I have any connections to this or outgoing, I can just find them all here. And I can look inside of here as well and see that there is an incoming connection from this. So I can navigate both ways, and that becomes extremely powerful, especially when the connection itself isn't listed in the document, but you know that there are incoming connections to that document. Now let's go over the elements feature. So elements are these little organizational boxes that we've been using to illustrate the features right here, or this instructions box, or this summary box down here, really any of these things. So in order to create an element, what you can do, I'm going to open this book chapter document again, just so we have a place to type, but you can go here, click / go to elements, and you can group elements by folder. So I have a planning group, outlines group, content group, core notes group, which we go over in the second brain course in our free community, default elements, and then all of the elements that aren't in a group are right here. So I can create new elements by clicking this, and I can select, I can name it, I can add an icon, I can select a specific group for it to go into, and then it will add here. So there are plenty of use cases for elements. I'll show you a few. So you can see here I have a connection to a weekly planning template that I've created before. So I have instructions for this. I have it a brain dump element, so you list out everything on your mind, weekly review, so what went well, what didn't go so well, gratitude, goals, tasks, etc. And clearly these look a lot more clean and elegant when they're collapsed, and it makes things a lot more organizable. So a few things here is that you can go here and you can drag this handle to reorder elements if you'd like. You can also click this and click open in Pane to open the entire element in the pane itself. So if you have something like a newsletter writing template or a book chapter outline that you want to open in and of itself into a pane, then you can do that. Going deeper, you can create your own daily planning template if you wanted to, and that way you can link the planning page to this every day. So with this, you can think of elements as atomic notes as well. So think of it this way, where we had the weekly planning template and that was connected to the daily planning template, I could turn this into a day of the week. Like today is September 17th, 2024. And the thing with this is that I can just continue to create tasks for each and every day. So if I create a new tasks element and then I put, let's say September 18th, 2024, and then I just list my tasks here, I can do this every day and just have my tasks and my templates ready. I don't need to create a new note every single time if it can be done inside of an element, because the thing with elements is that I can search those up. So if we look and search for the task element and I search inside of here, I can see that there are multiple task elements inside of this or inside of this, and I can open those and just get to them very quickly if I want to. The other cool thing is that you can link specific elements just like you can connect specific documents. So this can get extremely confusing very fast, and I would encourage you not to overwhelm yourself right now. Just use elements for templates and outlines and other creative things. And if you want to go crazy in creating a full second brain that is very unique and different from other apps, we would encourage you to do that. And if you do, please post it in our free community so we can reach out to you and potentially collaborate with you, because we aren't able to do that on our own, especially with your unique use cases. So the next thing you can do is you can click on it, you can click copy link to element, and then I can really paste that anywhere. So I can link it here, and then I have all of my tasks. And the thing about this is that this is mirrored. So if I go here and I check these off, you can see that the other one checks off as well. This can also be useful for students, where if you're taking notes in class, then let's say you need to remember a definition or a theorem. So you create a custom element. So you go to new element, and then let's just say like theorem. Is that how you spell theorem? You can change the icon, you can create a new group or select a new group and then create it. And so when you do this throughout your notes in school, if there's ever a time where you want to reference a theorem or something else, you can just link that element, and wherever you need to link it, you'll have it ready to look at, right? So now let's get rid of this. and let's continue on, because elements can get very daunting. But I guess the last thing I'll show you before is what templates look like. So in the second brain course, we go over the core notes template. So if you want to take notes on something in a unique way like we teach, then this is how you would do it. So you would take a bunch of notes on the ideas that you capture, and you'd flesh out the note in your own words. You'd add tags and connections so everything's interconnected. And then what happens is you end up having these notes that look similar to this, with tags that I can go into and reference at any time. I have my writing philosophy. I have another note on time under attention with the attention tag. I have attention holding techniques, and my writing philosophy is connected to this one, so I can open it. And when you're writing something, it makes it very valuable to be able to search and look at tags and look at connections to get all of the ideas you need very fast and very quick. So another example of elements is one, just the notes, so I can search any part of these whenever I need them. And my template's like a swipe file. So I have a swipe file of a bunch of examples of my own tweets that I would want to emulate. So if I'm writing social media content, what I can do is, let's say I'm writing social media content in this specific document. I can open my swipe file in the side, and I can just have this open as I write. And then if I remember that I captured post ideas inside of capture earlier, I can open this up and just filter it by post idea or hashtag post idea. And now I see all of my ideas in one place. So this is very useful when it comes to ideation and having all of your ideas in one place. So we got a bit messy there. So let's get back on track and go to one of my favorite features, which is the library. So right now, while we're developing our own internal web clippers and highlighters and YouTube transcription highlighters and other things like that, right now you can connect to a Readwise account. So what you do is you sign up for Readwise, which is an app that allows you to connect to a lot of different apps, and it has a web clipper as well. That stores all of your highlights from Kindle or Twitter, X, Medium, Instapaper, everything. And so when you highlight those things, it saves it to your Readwise. And when you go here, you go to settings, you go to Readwise, and then you add your access token. And if you're logged into Readwise, all you need to do is click this button. It will give you the access token. You come back, you paste it in here. And then after some time, your library will be populated. And this is one of my favorite features because it saves all of your sources, authors, and highlights in one place. So you can see I've saved tweets from my bookmarks that get auto uploaded. I have book highlights like from The Art of Impossible. It has my annotations inside of it. And going even further, we can go back to the sources itself. I have my book in here, Awareness by Anthony DeMello. I can search for any of these and I can link them inside of my documents, which is a great thing. So if I'm writing a book chapter and I already did my research, I've already saved my highlight, I want to reference something from, let's say I want to reference from Stephen Kotler. Let's say I'm writing about flow. Well, I can go here, I can look at all this fun stuff. And if I go here and I push the open in Pane button or shortcut, so Option Enter, it opens it in a pane for me so I can navigate all of these things here. I can also click the open in Pane button for the library as a whole and just start navigating. Now, another thing, if I click highlight and I go to Stephen Kotler and then I start looking for the specific highlight that I want, let's just say I want to include this one. Now it links it inside of here so that I can reference these things and it makes it very quick to write. And as you can see, a little connection popped up there. So not only can you connect documents to documents and elements to documents and captures to documents, but also highlights to documents, which is what a lot of second brain features lack and get very confusing with. So that's just a major feature that I really benefit from as a writer. The last thing I want to show you with library is being able to upload a PDF. So if I go into my own book and I click edit, I can upload a PDF, and it is right here, open, and then save changes. And now it shows up here. So what this will do, and we don't have the EPUB reader ready just yet, but we will in the near future. But for a PDF, you can open it to start reading. It'll load, and then it will try to match the highlights that you have already from Readwise or wherever else it was. And it does a pretty good job at actually matching the highlights. So right here is a highlight that was already in my Kortex, but it's in this now. So the cool thing about this is that I can open this in a Pane while reading. So if I go back to Kortex operating manual, close this out, and I go open library in a Pane, go to the art of focus, start reading, I can have this open in the side as I'm writing or doing whatever I want. Now, going into the next thing from the Kortex operating manual are panes, which we've gone over, but in a nutshell, you can open anything in a pane. You can open this in a pane, you can open this in a pane, you can open anything in a pane. It's beautiful. Now, the next thing is just the search menu, which we slightly went over, but if you press Command K, it will open this, and you can open capture. You can do really anything from the search menu. You can enter focus mode, you can create a source, you can send us feedback. So if you encounter a bug or something of that nature, you can click here. It goes straight to our dev team so we can reply to you about it. I can go to sources, I can go to documents, I can search really anything. So if I just search writing, I can see my documents on writing, see my drafts, all of that fun stuff. I can see my tags, I can see my highlights. I can open all of these in a pane. It becomes very useful for finding the ideas that I want to find. Now, document sharing. So if you create templates, or you're a creator and you want to share specific notes templates or content templates or other things like that, there's a few different ways you can do it. So the main thing is you can go up here and you can invite people by email. So you type their email in and just press enter. There's viewer, editor, or admin. You can share a private link, which what that does is when people click it, they're invited to the document and it adds it to their shared tab. And then there's also general access. So if I want to share just a public link to the actual document without any of the connections preserved, just so people can read it, this is the link that I would use. In terms of feedback and support, we went over how to send feedback in the search menu. But another thing you can do is just go to kortex.co/support or email support@kortex.co in order to get in front of us if you need technical or billing help, right? And then of course, if you just want community support or you have a simple app question that isn't very pressing or threatening, then join the free Kortex community at community.kortex.co. Now, the last thing is just importing and exporting. So if I want to export, one thing that I can do is I can select this document and then I can download as a Kortex file or just as Markdown. If I select multiple documents, I can just go here, right click, download as Markdown, right? So that's downloading all of those documents. Now, the next thing that you can do is you can go to settings, you can go to import. Right now it says import Notion, but we're going to change this. In general, the gist of it is that if you export a Markdown file or a zip file filled with Markdown documents, especially if the folder structure is maintained, you can upload that zip file here and it will upload everything under one specific document as a folder. With all of that said, that was quite a lot. That's it for this product tour. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you have any questions, please join our community. I hope you build some incredible things inside of Kortex. And if you want to take it even further, just take the Second Brain course. So that's all we've got for this. Thank you so much for watching thus far. Have fun with Kortex.